Okay, here we are. Carriage House Conversations. We are here with Eric from Farrington Place. Guess I don't need my glasses on to just chit chat. Um, Farrington Place is one of our preferred vendors for rental items, for linens, for um, china, all different kinds of things. I'm not going to get into that. We'll let Eric talk to you about all of the different items that they do have. Um, a lot of things are included with your rental here as far as your tableware, linens, that sort of thing. But oftentimes you want different colors of things, and this is where you're going to go for that. This is where you're going to go for some decor items to make your life easier. They can bring those things in for you. So I thought we'd have Eric in to talk about that for you and let you know what they have available. Instead of looking at that website or that piece of paper, he can explain to you everything they have to offer. So thanks for coming in on this beautiful day today on
Yeah, thank
420,
you.
no less.
That's true. Yeah, thank you for having me.
um, so Eric, I want to get to know you a little bit first. So are you from Williamsport?
Yeah, so born and raised in Williamsport, went to Williamsport High School. Uh, Been here ever since.
Okay. And you're married?
I am. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And kids?
Yeah, wife and two daughters.
Okay. And your wife helps you in the business, correct?
She does. Yeah. So the company's 10 years old next month, and we were able to steal her and bring her on in year two. So 8 years
Wow.
now she's been full time helping operate it.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's
Good and
exciting.
bad. I mean,
Yeah,
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 it's tough.
yeah. We're in the
Yeah.
same office all day, every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. Um, so Farrington, if you don't know, also has a facility downtown where they host a ton of events. They have in-house catering, so they're doing weddings and all kinds of dinners and functions there on site. But they also have this whole other part of their facility where it's their showroom where you can go in and see everything that they have to offer for rentals. So, what's just go through a little bit of what you would have to offer, like our couples here or anybody else that's renting. One thing you and I talked about, a big thing would be like the tent for the field.
Sure.
If it's a sunny day, we don't ever talk about that. We always talk about the backup plan for us that they would go to our patio. But what if they
Yeah.
didn't want to have a backup plan? What if they were like, no, I want that view. I want to see the mountains. I don't care. I'm just going to get a tent. And then if it rains, we're covered in the field.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. So we have 50 different tents, all sizes from just a little 10 by 10 up to 40 by 240 or bigger. For the purposes of a ceremony, you don't need a huge tent, kind of a medium-sized tent. But of course, you have that gorgeous view out there. If it looks like it's going to be either 100 degrees and sunny, or maybe it's going to be cold or rainy, that would be a good opportunity. So our tents are going to range anywhere from a couple $100 for a small, like 20 by 20 or 20 by 30, which would be more of a small wedding of 60, 80 people, all the way up to a couple $1,000s. But I would think if your average wedding is 100 to 200 people, you're probably looking at a tent rental in the 600 to 1200
Okay.
range. Again, depending on the style, the size,
Hmm.
are they doing anything else under it? Unity candles, things like that. But that would be a great opportunity. Most of our tents are brand new. In the last 3 years, we bought about 13 new tents. So out of those 50, many of them are still sparkling white,
Yeah.
gorgeous, brand new. And we buy 3 to 4 tents a year. So we're always just recycling and getting new inventory.
Yeah,
But yeah, that
that's
would
a
be
lot of
great.
tents.
It is.
That's
Yeah.
a huge
Yeah.
inventory. So, I mean, I know this is kind of a guesstimate, but how far in advance do you suggest someone rents a tent?
So that is always a tough call.
Yeah.
A lot of our events, or our rentals, I should say, are rented 3 to 12 months out. Some are 12 to 18 months out, but people do tend to be a little more last minute when it comes to tents, especially if it's a rain concern. But we do have a thing where they only have to pay half of the tent if they don't end up using it. So once you reserve the tent, we can't rent it to someone else, of course.
Hmm.
So say a bride is getting married this September. September's a gorgeous time of year, but could be very wet, or could be cold. So they could contact us, in September, but it would be better to contact us at the beginning of the summer and say, hey, how do I go about sizing the tent, figuring out what size? We do CAD drawings, so we're going to draw the entire ceremony, the aisles. We can talk with them whether they need a 6 foot aisle, an 8 foot aisle. Are they doing something unique? Do they have any type of handicap issue? Maybe father's walking down the aisle, but he's in a wheelchair, so we want to make that aisle a little wider.
Mm,
Or maybe a service dog or another dog's going to be with them, and they want that aisle to be wider. So all of those things are going to help us size to know what size tent they really need. And we can do that with them. That's all free, those drawings. And then, of course, we install it, we tear it down. We can come out Friday, or if we have to, we can come out Saturdays as well, and tear down Sunday or Monday. And if they want anything inside the tent, if they think, hey, we need some lighting up in that peak, or maybe some drapery, we can do that as well.
nice.
Yeah.
Now we set up benches for our ceremonies. What if
Oh, nice. We could draw
occasionally
those. Yeah.
occasionally people want chairs though?
Mhm.
Do you offer chair rentals?
We do. So we have 5 different styles of chairs. But the nice thing is, if you're already offering the benches, we could just email you, get the dimensions of the benches, and we could draw them instead of chairs. So same thing, we could figure out the tent size based on, how long is the bench, how wide is the bench. But yeah, we would be able to do that. Or like you said, chair rentals would be fine as well.
Okay.
Mhm.
So we have had people that just don't want a bench and they just want chairs, not necessarily the tent. They would, so
Mhm.
if you would just do
Yeah.
chairs.
Yeah, you could just rent chairs from us, even if it's, hey, we only need 20 for the front
Oh,
patio or
okay.
whatever. Or, hey, we need 2 or 300 or more. And same thing with the other specialty rentals. So if they were like, hey, we just need some drapery, or maybe it's a really odd linen color. Now, of course, you guys provide linens, but maybe it's an odd color that you're like,
Yeah.
oh, we don't have that. We have 101 colors of linens
Wow.
in tablecloths, runners, bows, and napkins. So if it's something that's not the run of the mill that you're going to carry. We
Yeah, we
carry
just carry
those.
white and ivory.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
that's what's included is white and
Hmm.
ivory. So if you're looking for a color that's gonna match your bridesmaids, your
Hmm.
flowers, your color, you definitely want to rent something else.
Yeah, yeah. And we can special order other linens as well. So if somebody wants a damask print or a faux burlap or a real burlap, we can also order those in. And some of those we keep in stock like burlaps, but others are just simply a special order.
Yeah, and you can get really crazy. There's some really
You
fabulous
can.
linens out
Yeah,
there.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I've been to some shows where they're showing those linens and they are really beautiful.
Yeah, yep.
So they would be like a special one that you would have to order ahead.
They would be. We ask for at least a week's notice.
Okay.
Obviously, 2 or more weeks is better for special
Hmm.
order because with today, shipping times can be delayed in today's, all
Right.
the issues going on. Yep.
So I would say they're kind of the big things here, you
Mhm.
know. So what other sorts of things would they be renting for something here as far as like decor kinds of
Mhm.
things?
Yeah, so we do have decor. We have beautiful rustic whiskey barrels. We have like bar tops, which not everybody uses them for bars. They may use 2 whiskey barrels and put an 8 foot bar top for their cake display, which is a
Mhm.
really beautiful way to display the cake. Or desserts. I've seen people do it for memory tables, gift tables, where they want to tie in that kind of higher end rustic look, and they'll add in those nice finished bars and things like that. We also have like the wooden boxes that you can do flowers in. We have the black lanterns. The lanterns come with the flickering candles, so things like that. If they said, you know what, we want to add a little decor, indoor or outdoor, onto the tables or cocktail tables, we have that decor as well. And we have a really good website. Our website has thousands of items, and it actually has all the prices and even the dimensions, which can be the
Oh,
tricky part for
nice. Yeah.
the brides want to know, hey, is this a 9 by 9 lantern or a 6 by 6? So you can actually click on the product, see the price, but then you can see all the specs as well.
That's
Mhm.
nice because we give them, once they're booked with us, we give them all the dimensions here as far as tables. I give them all
Yeah,
the window dimensions, all the
yeah,
ledges and everything, so they know what they need, what's going to fit where. So
yeah,
that would be perfect if they're
yeah.
thinking, I want lanterns in the windows,
Mhm.
so they'll know the sizes that will fit in
Yeah.
everything.
And we can deliver and pick up, or they can come to our place. So sometimes we'll have clients that say, "Oh, I just need a dozen lanterns," and of course there'd be a small delivery fee, but we're just in downtown Williamsport, so it may make more sense for them to come out Friday morning or Thursday even, pick those items up, put them in their car, and then bring them here Saturday morning or whatever day they're setting up.
Yeah, you're
Um,
only 5 minutes from us. Yeah.
yeah, yep, yep,
Yeah, it's nice and
absolutely.
easy. And then you don't have to go to the expense of looking for all of those items, making sure the store has, 10
Mhm.
matching what you have. You don't have to special order. You don't have to worry about them at the end. What am I going to do with them? Am I going to, put them on the Facebook group to sell
Yeah,
them?
yeah.
it's usually your mom's problem. What is
Yeah.
she going to do with all of these things? So renting them is so much easier for everyone.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because we get calls almost weekly in wedding season from the mothers
Yep.
usually. That, hey, do you want to buy 25, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And once in a great while we will, but for the most part, it's like, oh, that's not going to match what we have probably.
Yeah.
Uh,
It has to
so
be
yeah,
something special for you to want to. Yeah, I've had
yeah,
people do that too. And if it's something that's really cool that we
yeah,
will use again, okay. But
yeah.
yeah, if it's linens that have been used and stay.
Yeah. Well, it's tough because say you buy 25, but then next weekend that wedding needs 27. The likelihood of finding two that match,
Yep.
and depending on where it came from, you may never
Yeah.
be able to get them again.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know how that is.
Yeah.
So how many I don't want to say how many events do you do a week because you're doing crazy things all the time.
Yeah.
So let's say how far do you deliver? How far do you guys go?
So we'll typically we say 60 to 75 miles around Williamsport. We have gone quite a bit further. We do some really large like graduations for universities that are a little further, or high schools even,
Okay.
where they'll order like an 8 or 10,000 square foot tent and maybe 1,200 or 1,500 chairs.
Wow.
So a job that size, will travel 100 miles or more.
Yeah.
But I would say for your normal, size event, 100 people, 150 people, we're going to try to stick to under 75 miles, right around Williamsport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Is there anything that I'm missing about your rentals?
Um, we definitely offer a lot. The website is the easiest. It's the farringtonplace.com, and which is www.farringtonplace.com. And then you just simply click on the tent and rentals, and it says rental catalog. Once you click on that, on the left side, there's a drop down of every type of product from like furniture to decor, and that's a really good place to start, just because we offer so much. I'm sure we're missing stuff that we offer, but
I was on there and it is a really great website with a lot of good pictures, a lot of good quality pictures. So it is nice to go there and just check everything out.
And we add new products honestly every day. You'll see new things pop up. So maybe 6 months ago or so, we added some signage. So now we have like a beautiful love sign. It's made of wood. It's white. It has all the nice light bulbs in it.
Mm,
You just plug it into an outlet and they interconnect the L, O, V, and E. So
mm.
that could be a nice rental for at the
Yeah.
ceremony or up in the barn or in the tent.
Yeah.
So we have some signage like that. And those things are all on the website with the price. And the nice thing is dimensions are on the website.
Yeah.
So like I said earlier, if it's all right, is this 4 foot tall by whatever width sign going to fit where we want it? They'll know right away by looking at the website.
So for your showroom in downtown Williamsport, what are the hours there for people to come in and see things?
Yeah, so we're always there Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. But it is best to call ahead because we may have two or three other brides in there at the time. So people are welcome to stop in, but you run that risk of if you just pop in and we're already meeting with two or three brides,
Sure.
you might be waiting an hour or so. We do prefer that people call ahead of time just so we can guarantee that we can block off a 30 or 60-minute time just for you so that you're not
Right.
waiting.
Right. You want to
Yeah.
spend that quality time with someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds
Yeah.
good. So to get to know you a little bit personally,
Sure.
and that's what this is about too, so people get a vibe for the vendor,
Yeah.
we have these little questions.
Awesome.
You say awesome now.
Until we start reading
They're fun.
them. All right, we'll start. So, what makes you laugh out loud? Oh man. Um, Probably my youngest child, Lydia, who is a blast and she's like crazy in the best way possible.
How old is she?
So she'll be 13 this summer, but she's
Oh,
12 right now. But she will just break out into song and dance. She's just hilarious.
oh,
So I would
cool.
say both my daughters are amazing. Joanna's amazing too, but Lydia's that kind of just sparkling personality that
Nice.
so probably when I'm laughing out loud most of the time, it would be because I'm around her and
Oh,
she's fun.
nice.
Yeah. What's the biggest, I'm sorry, what's the best gift you ever received?
Or what's the biggest?
Yeah, right? Oh man, that's a tough one. Um, I'm the type of person, funny enough, that everybody's always like, "Oh, it's your birthday or it's Christmas. What should I get you?" And I'm like, "Nothing."
Yeah.
I don't know your presents because I don't want to say I have everything. I certainly don't. but I have everything that I need.
Yeah.
So we have a great business, we have an incredible family, we have a nice house, we live local, like we're pretty blessed. So I don't ask for a lot of gifts. I usually get t-shirts, the typical dad stuff, um, boots, things like that. Best gift though, man, probably, probably, when my kids were very young, my parents approached us and wanted to pay for all of us to go to Disney. And we've since
Mm,
been to Disney many times, but this was quite a few years ago. And that was an incredible gift because we
yeah.
got to go with my parents as well, which was neat. And then we went as an entire family. And I would say that was probably the biggest gift for sure, both, 7 or 8 days and then
Yeah.
monetary, certainly wasn't a cheap vacation. So that would probably be the best answer for that.
Yeah. That's nice.
What do you do to unwind? Oh man. So lately, because this time of year, both of my daughters play softball. So usually I'm rushing right out of work at 5, 5:30, 6 o'clock to get to their softball games. And I'll be honest, that is so relaxing, so wonderful.
Okay.
Now, softball season will end unless they go to All-Stars. It'll end in June. If they go to All-Stars, it could end in August or depending on how quick they
Yeah.
win or lose. But after that, I would say probably we have a beautiful pool and two awesome dogs, and we have labs, which you know anything about labs, you can't keep them out of the water. So
Oh,
they're always an in-ground pool, so we really can't keep them out.
yeah.
So I would say to unwind, if it's a day off, sitting by the pool, maybe making a homemade, mojito with shaking it with our mint that we grow fresh, hanging out with the labs and the kids in the pool.
That sounds
It
perfect.
is. Yeah, yeah. We work in this industry, as you know, we work very hard, but we do get a day or two off and we get to play hard. So that's sitting by the pool, drinking mojitos, having fun.
That sounds
Yeah.
perfect.
If you could pick any celebrities to be your parents, who would you pick? Oh, that's funny. So, being born in the 80s, growing up in the 90s, the early 2000s when I'm graduating high school, there was that amazing, crazy movie, probably not the most appropriate movie, but it was in my era, American Pie. And the father of that movie,
Oh,
Eugene
I
Levy,
love
I love
him.
it. And
Love
I
him
loved
so
him from what
much.
was that show that him and his son wrote together, Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
And I loved him since like 99 or 98, whenever American Pie came out. And I just thought, like, my dad is really cool. And it's funny because they have that poofy hair and they have the dark hair and they look similar. But his dad is just so crazy in that movie. But then when he plays the part, with his son who writes that show, Schitt's Creek, they're just so funny. So, um, if I had to have a celebrity parent, oh, I would say Eugene Levy. He's just so much fun.
I was in TJ Maxx yesterday and I was going through the clothes and there was a mother and a son behind me going through clothes and the son was in his probably like early to mid 20s. And the mom picked something up and she goes, "What do you think about this for me?" And he goes, "Horrendous." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's Dan Levy for sure." You know what I
That's
mean?
funny.
It
Yeah,
sounded
yeah,
just like him. That's
yeah.
horrendous. Put that down.
So good question so far, by the way. I didn't expect this. This is fun.
It's fun,
It
right?
is, yeah. What do you bring with you everywhere you go? Oh man. Um, so that's funny. Uh,
Probably water.
I would probably say yeah. Um, it's so funny, but it's just a very basic water bottle. But I've had this water bottle. That was a huge outdoor event that we did,
Oh,
and
really?
we fed 1,000 people
Oh
breakfast,
my
lunch, and dinner.
God.
And it was a year ago, maybe a little over,
That's
right around there.
amazing.
So we had to live on site in an RV, which was really fun. We had 7 employees up there that were there from Friday about 3 p.m. until Sunday at like 3 p.m.
Wow.
And Saturday we did breakfast from I want to say 6 to 8 a.m. Lunch was like 1 to 3, and then dinner was like 7 to 9. And it was just this. It's a massive event. It's held, I guess, local. It's about 40 miles away, but somewhat local. And it was so much fun. So I bought a water bottle while I was at the event, and I don't know, it just goes everywhere now.
Oh my gosh.
But
Every time
yeah,
you look at that, you think of that
it
the
was
whole
so much
weekend.
work, but it was
Yeah.
so much fun. So to
Yeah.
live there, like the clients were just phenomenal people. And it was a huge mountain bike race is what it was. So there was people from Puerto Rico, there was people from France, there was people from Italy,
Oh,
and
wow.
me speaking, I'm bilingual.
Oh, are you?
So my children and I speak Spanish fluently.
Oh, wow.
And I live about 20 to 30 days a year in Mexico.
Oh, I didn't
Uh,
know that.
yeah, yep. So that I guess I should have brought that up because that's another
Yeah,
fun fact. But there's a handful of brides and grooms from this area that are Spanish speakers. I
definitely.
would say we work with 5 to 7 of them a year. And actually, funny enough, 5 years ago, right before COVID, by 4 years ago, we had a couple that was from Spain, which was really interesting because usually Spanish speakers in this area are Cuba, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, or Mexico.
Hmm.
Spain's pretty far.
Yeah,
So that was really neat to be able to, speak and converse with their family who all flew in here
that's
from Spain.
awesome. Yeah, I've
So
had two,
yeah,
and I have a third one coming up. So
nice.
I do my best at signage, like
Yeah,
doing it in Spanish
that's
and
so neat.
English.
Yeah.
I do my best.
But that's another thing. If you had someone that's a client that's coming here, and some of our clients don't speak great English, but it's fun because they can come into our showroom and we can speak, or they'll Facebook message us, and I can speak their language. I
Yeah.
speak some Italian, but I wouldn't say fluent. But Spanish and Italian are so close that the other day we had a mother of I think it was a bride. It was maybe a baby shower, bridal shower. Facebook message us in Italian. And I could read every bit of it as a Spanish speaker, so I was able to respond back with my broken Italian.
Yeah,
Uh, but
that's so
yeah, so that was neat.
cool.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
very nice.
Best Halloween costume you've ever worn. Ooh. So
Are
that's
you a
where
Halloween person?
I'm not.
Yeah,
So
I'm not
that's where I'm
either.
not a Halloween person.
Yeah.
Um, when the kids were little, now they have to go out alone, of course. Dad can't come with them because
Oh,
they'll be
yeah, that
13 and
age.
14 here
Yeah.
soon. So it's like they're too cool for
Yeah,
me.
for sure.
But 4 or 5 years ago, they were out with us trick or treating, but we didn't really dress up. We just kind of took him around. Um,
What about when you were little? Like,
so
what was your?
funny, I was gonna say a funny story that doesn't really have to do with Halloween costume, but definitely has to do with dressing up. When we first started Farrington Place in 2013, and we still do, we were doing a lot of nonprofit events, some for free, some heavily discounted, and we still do that. But I was even going out to events back then and doing stuff. So we had, I don't remember which group, it's one of the cancer groups that contacted us and said, "Would you be willing to participate in this group?" And I had to dress up, and it was fun. I had this big wig on, and
Yeah.
it was fun. But that was all for a good cause, and
Yeah.
many other people were dressed up. Uh, and that was a long time ago. That was 10 years ago. So it's not a Halloween
Are there
costume; it's
pictures
a costume.
anywhere?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We're not going to share those.
We'll find them.
Yeah,
We
how
can
about
find
it?
them.
Google has them somewhere.
Hmm.
What is the first thing you notice about people? Um, oh man, lots of stuff. But I would say for me, one of the most exciting things is when we meet with like a bride and a groom, would be their interactions. So this is a really rewarding career. You work really long hours and you work a lot of hours,
Hmm.
but to be able to watch the bride and grooms interact, and this is one of the greatest moments they're ever going to have. And it's just so beautiful. And when they come in and they're holding hands and they just get so excited, and you see like the giggles and the smiles and the eyes light up when they look at the pictures or the linens
Hmm.
or whatever. That is I don't know, I noticed that immediately, and it's a really fun, exciting thing. And
Hmm.
then you work with them for sometimes 18 months or more,
Yeah.
but at least 3 to 9 months, if not longer. And you get to watch them, and then when the actual event happens, it's so exciting. The only thing better than that is when they send you a message, an email, whatever, a couple days after the wedding to tell you like, oh, it was perfect, and
Yeah.
here's pictures and this and that. And that makes you realize like, all right, why do I work these 12, 15, 16-hour days all the time? That's why, and it's so worth
Why
it.
are my legs so tired? Why
Yeah,
do I have
your calves are
blisters?
burning.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They don't make shoes or boots comfortable enough for
Uh-uh.
16 hours of
No,
wedding
they
work.
don't. And
Yeah.
that's what I always say. It doesn't matter what kind of shoe it is, it's going to hurt by the end of the
Yep.
day.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I literally have to buy a pair of dress shoes every single year because the amount of walking we do on
Yeah.
concrete and hard surfaces, you just burn through the
Yep.
soles.
Yep.
Yeah. Are you a planner or spontaneous? Ooh, mostly a planner. And I say mostly, I can be spontaneous. We're not as busy in January, February, and March, of course.
Hmm.
It's just this industry isn't a busy industry in those months,
Hmm.
especially in this area of North
Right.
America where it snows, it's cold. Still do weddings, just not as many. Um, so I don't remember if it was last year or 2 years ago, but just out of the blue, it was like a cold winter. You get like 10 days where it's cloudy, there's no sun, it's 10 degrees. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to book a trip back to Mexico. We'll sit on the beach of Isla Mujeres or Playa del Carmen. But I'm not going to really tell my wife until we book it. So just booked it. And I booked it with, I think, 6 days notice. So it was like Tuesday. And I'm like, hey, by the way, we're leaving Monday. The great thing about being a business owner is as hard as you work, you do have those freedoms.
Right.
If I was working for someone else, probably couldn't ask for
Yeah.
10 days off on 6 days notice. So we left the following Monday. We were gone for 10 days. It was a blast. And then we went back again in like a month or two and took the kids. But that trip was so much fun because it was so
How happy was
spontaneous. I mean,
she?
so at first she was really nervous because we have two kids. So it's like, what are we going to do with the kids? What are we going to do with the dogs? But we have an amazing support system. So the family on both sides are incredible people. They all, and I already knew obviously ahead of time that they'd be available. But that was her first 24 hours. She was in panic mode of like kids, dogs, school, house, business. But we kind of already had all of that behind the scenes done. So then over the next 5 days, it was like just excitement. But the neat thing is typically you plan a vacation, you plan it at least a month ahead, if not six
Oh my
months.
gosh,
And
yeah.
a lot of people plan them a year ahead.
Yeah.
So you get all excited, you plan it, but then you kind of like forget about it and lose that excitement until a couple weeks before.
Yeah.
This was neat because every day was exciting because every day was like, oh, 3 days, 2 days, one day.
Yeah.
So it was cool. She'll probably watch this, so I don't want to say that I'm going to do that again, but I may. It may be in the
Here's
future.
hoping.
Yeah, it
That's
was so much
awesome.
fun. Yeah. What is something that is popular now that annoys you? Oh man, probably all the weird, crazy language that my kids come home with, like, oh, do the gritty, do this and that. And I'm like, I must be getting old because I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
Some of it's funny, but some of it, like my kids come home doing all these TikTok dances or they speak words that like gritty is a good example. I'm like, what are you? I have to like Google because I have no
Yeah.
idea what they're even talking
Yeah.
about. So I don't want to necessarily say it annoys me, but sometimes having teenagers is certainly interesting. Some of
Yeah.
the words they use, you're like, that doesn't even make sense.
Well, just imagine our parents
Oh,
though.
we were the same
Just
way.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And at
Yeah.
least we have the technology to like get on there and hit the
True.
Urban Dictionary and see what the heck they're
True.
talking
So
about.
yeah, we could figure it out. They couldn't.
I
Yeah.
remember trying to describe a certain word to my dad and he just did not get it. And I'm like, and I kept explaining it and he's like, that doesn't make sense at all. Those, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
same.
But I always yell at my daughters, so I always yell at them. I don't yell at them, but I'm always like, why do you keep calling your girlfriends bro? Like in my day, I feel like the 80s, 90s era invented like dude and bro.
Yeah.
Like that was our thing. So then I hear two little girls that are like 12, like bro, and I'm like, she's a girl, right? So that one definitely annoys me because I'm like, you can't say that. Like, you can be
Yeah.
like, hey girl, which is what, back in the day would be like, oh, hey girl. But it's like,
Yeah.
bro, I'm like, she's a girl.
Our one
So
our one cook calls me bro all the time.
that's funny.
So I
Yeah.
just started calling him sis.
Nice. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's always like, bro, what's up? I'm like, hey sis.
So yeah, definitely our culture, if never would we have been like, hey bro or hey sis to the opposite gender.
Yeah,
But nowadays I guess it's cool. So
I guess.
yeah. But the kids are crazy, but they're fun. You learn something every day.
Yeah. Keeps you young though.
So yeah, I don't have gray hairs yet, but I promise it'll probably be soon.
I just saw on the Today Show where they're coming out with technology to stop gray hair. Was on this
Oh,
morning.
that's funny.
Yeah. Here's hoping. I'm probably
How
too old
about it?
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen for
Yeah,
me,
I'm knocking on that door, I'm sure.
but
So, and as the kids get older, oh,
more gray hairs.
yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
They'll be
Yeah, it doesn't
driving
end.
soon. That's really scary.
Oh yeah.
I'm not excited about that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, this has been great learning about you.
Yeah, that was really
Yeah.
fun.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
I'm glad you like that.
yeah.
So I'll have all your information on YouTube
Awesome.
that they can get in touch with you, email, anything, and check out your website, especially. So make sure you check out Farrington Place. Learn anything you can rent from them. And I mean, not just here, anywhere, any party, anything, big,
Yeah,
small, like you said. Thanks for
yeah.
coming.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate
Yeah,
it. Yeah, thank
absolutely.
you.
Now you can go enjoy this beautiful day.
Ah, it's
Get your pool
gorgeous.
open.
Yeah, yeah, a couple weeks.
Yeah. All right. Bye bye.